There are fears the floods could have a disastrous impact on agriculture. Our correspondent Paul Adams has reported from Kiev.
In the city of Kherson, more than 40 miles from the dam at Novokhovka, the flood is still rising. Emergency crews and volunteers with dinghies have been working around the clock, rescuing stranded residents. Some areas close to the banks of the Dnipro are now underwater. The vast Kakhovka reservoir is still spewing out through the stricken dam. Officials at the Ministry of Agriculture say it could take weeks to empty. The first Deputy Minister, Taras Vysotsky, told us that damage to some of Ukraine's most fertile agricultural land could take 5 years to repair, with annual losses of at least £1 billion. The reservoir and pumping station at the dam were also responsible for providing drinking water to huge numbers of people across southern Ukraine. The government is wrestling with how to provide emergency supplies.
Prince Harry has accused several newspapers of using farming on an industrial scale. Available sources. Our Home Affairs correspondent John Simons is at the Hill in central London.
The pattern of questions has become clear during Prince Harry's hours in the witness box. Andrew Green, QC for the newspapers, put it to him that stories, many about his relationship with an early girlfriend, Chelsea Davy, were obtained legitimately from palace sources, other newspapers or eyewitnesses. Prince Harry often responded that the information they contained was so personal it must have been obtained by hacking his mobile phone voicemail messages. But the court heard 2 people were convicted of phone hacking in 2007. Surely any journalist would be at great risk, subsequently trying to hack a member of the royal family. Prince Harry said the risk was worth the reward for them. Hacking being carried out on an industrial scale. He said it would be an injustice if the court found against him.
2,000 security officers working at Heathrow Airport will walk out on the strike for 31 days over the summer. The union Unite is calling for a major escalation of an ongoing pay dispute. Heathrow said it would do everything it could to minimise disruption. Here's our transport correspondent Katie Austin.
Previous strikes over the Easter and May half-term holidays involved security officers at Terminal 5, which is used only by British Airways, and workers who check staff and vehicles. Some flights were cancelled, but contingency measures appeared to keep the airport running smoothly. The fresh wave of action will also involve security staff at Terminal 3, which is used by other carriers including Virgin Atlantic and Emirates. Unite says the 10% pay rise on the table is below the RPI measure of inflation. Strikes will begin on the 24th of June and be spread across a period of more than 2 months. Every weekend in August will be affected. It could mean longer queues to get through security, but Heathrow said it would continue to build on its plans to protect journeys.
The trial of a man accused of shooting dead a Metropolitan Police Centre in South London has begun. Prosecutors say Louis de Zoyzer, who's 25, shot Sergeant Matt Ratner using an antique gun loaded with homemade bullets. Brain damage during the incident denies murder. Our Home Affairs correspondent Daniel Sanford is at Northampton Crown Court.
Louis de Zoyzer is being brought to court each day in a wheelchair. The brain damage he now has means that he has problems. He is a whiteboard to help him communicate. In September 2020, two police officers inside London for a haircut, broken punishment, and they are in a holding he deliberately shot Sergeant in the chest range. The other shots were fired in the cell. The last one caused the brain damage to Louis de Zoyzer. It was shown to everyone video cameras of the officers who arrested him on the street. They found others and bullets, but despite a lengthy search, they did not find the gun that the prosecution say was probably concealed under the trial.
A 14-year-old boy died after what's been called an isolated incident on the grounds of a school in West Lothian. Police were called to St Pentagon's Academy in Blackburn yesterday afternoon. A cyber crime gang thought to be based in Russia has issued an ultimatum to victims of a hack that has hit organisations around the world, including the BBC, British Airways and Boots. The hackers posted a notice on the dark web urging those affected to email them by the 14th of June or their stolen data would be published. Our cyber correspondent Joe Tidy has seen the darknet post.
In broken English, the cybercriminals posted a message last night. Contact us by the 14th of June or we'll publish your data online. Cybersecurity researchers were expecting the gang, known as CLOP, to claim responsibility for this mass hack, and the notice confirms they're to blame. But the tactics have surprised many experts. Usually victims of these extortion cyber attacks are contacted by the hackers directly, who then demand a ransom payment. This hack is so big, the criminals are telling victims to get in touch with them. Organisations including the BBC, Boots and British Airways have all warned staff that sensitive payroll data may be in the hackers' hands. Firms are being urged not to pay any ransoms, which could be in the millions. Individuals affected, estimated to be at least 100,000 people, are being told not to panic, but to be vigilant of suspicious emails or calls. The mass hack is likely to get bigger, as the piece of corporate software that was broken into was popular around the world.
Joe Tidy reporting. Jane, thanks very much. It is amazing to think that 36 hours after Ukraine's Nova Kakhovka Dam was breached, the waters in the city of Kherson to its south have not yet reached their peak. Thousands have been evacuated. Ukrainian officials have warned that tens of thousands more will need to be, and some people awaiting rescue were forced to spend the night on their roofs or in trees because of the rising floodwaters. Our correspondent James Waterhouse has been there.
So we are a 15-minute drive into Kherson, and you drive towards the river where it really ramps up in risk because there is frequent shelling here from Russian forces just across the river. But we've come to the end of these steep steps to what you initially think is the side of the river, and then you look ahead and there's a rooftop to the left and the top of a small truck to the right, and the woman you can hear in the background is